Now we will see what is ground wave in the electromagnetic waves propagation. What is the meaning of ground wave? Suppose sometimes on the top of the mountains we will see some antennas. It will be like this. Top one point will be there. They used to radiate the waves. So what I am saying is these towers has the base in the ground. They are stick to the ground first of all. Suppose these towers should radiate some particular wavelength, the size of the antenna which it has some antenna. The size of the antenna should be in the order of wavelength. The size of the antenna should be in the size of or should be in the order of wavelength. So what is the meaning or conclusion of this point? Suppose this antenna should emit a wavelength of lambda. The size of the antenna should be in the order of lambda by 4 approximately. It has a base in the ground. When this antenna is radiating the waves, these waves will attenuate because of the increasing of the surface energy. That is one point we should understand. And one more thing what we can understand is as the waves are propagating like this earth induces some current on these antennas. This is very, very important point. So these waves which are launched at the top are feeling attenuation because of the increase in the energy on the ground. That's why this propagation is called ground wave propagation or surface wave propagation. Or surface wave propagation. So why antenna is releasing the wave? That wave should go to the limits of the heights of the tower, and whenever the limits was not reachable, this wave will go to the attenuation because of the surface wave energy, and the ground is implying an induced current on the poles. Okay, so like that the strength of the wave is going to decrease. Whenever the strength of the wave is going to decrease, that phenomenon is called attenuation. Because of this attenuation, it is very difficult to produce the high frequency waves. That's why in ground wave, the frequency is up to the order of few megahertz. That's it, few megahertz. That's it. More than that, it is not possible. Suppose if they want to pump a wavelength of certain limits, it should be in the order of some 15 kilometers. But that much height is not possible on the earth because the balancing won't be sufficient. So this is the information about the ground wave. Next we will see sky wave. Next we will see about the sky waves. In ground waves, a few megahertz frequency is possible. Suppose if the frequency is from few megahertz to 30 to 40 megahertz, few megahertz to 30 or 40 megahertz, this long wave propagation is not possible with respect to the ground. In this case, these will transfer to the long heights and they should be reflected towards the ground, because frequency means they should oscillate within the regular time intervals. So the transmission is possible through ionosphere. If frequency is from few megahertz to 30 to 40 megahertz, the transmission or the radiation is possible through the ionosphere. This ionosphere contains many ions which are ionized, and this ionosphere is located at from 65 kilometers to 400 kilometers or 450 kilometers above the Earth's surface. So this ionosphere have many layers. What is the existence of ionosphere? Ionosphere is possible to reflect the radiated waves and which has the frequency from megahertz to 30 to 40 megahertz. So this ionosphere is located at this much height, and this ionosphere contains many different layers. Each different layer has their own application. Now these molecules gets the energy. The molecules which are in the ionosphere will get the energy by the absorption of ultraviolet radiation by the sun, and not only ultraviolet, other high energy frequencies also. Other high frequencies means what are the remaining high energy frequencies are there, those will be absorbed by the molecules which are present in the ionosphere. That's why those molecules can able to reflect these waves because they are already ionized. But with respect to the height, the ionization factor will change and density will change. Before going to see that, we will see what are the different layers present in the ionosphere and what is their use, how it will work. Now we are watching a table. What is this table? This table explains about the different layers present in the ionosphere and what are the layers, how much height they have, and what is the existence and what are the frequencies they can most affect. We will see one by one. The first layer in the ionosphere is troposphere. This troposphere is located at 10 kilometers above the Earth's surface. Means more than some 1.5 kilometers more than Everest mountain. So 10 kilometers above the Earth's surface. It exists day and night. Okay, it is visible in day, visible in night, it exists. What are the most frequencies this troposphere can affect? It affects very high frequencies up to the gigahertz range. This is the information about the troposphere. These four are the main subparts of the ionosphere. So first one is D. This D is located 65 to 75 kilometers. This whole is subparts of ionosphere, we can write. Subparts of ionosphere. The first part is D, which is located 65 to 75 kilometers. It exists in a day only. What is its work? It reflects the low frequencies and mostly absorbs the middle frequencies and high frequencies. It reflects the low frequencies. That's it. Next one, E. It is also a subpart of the ionosphere, which is located at 100 kilometers. So it also exists in day only. What is the frequencies it can affect? It helps to surface waves reflection and reflects high frequencies. This E part of the ionosphere helps to surface waves, to reflect the surface waves and reflect the high frequency waves. Next one is F1, which is located at 170 to 190 kilometers. It exists in the daytime but completely merges with F2 at night. F2 is nothing but the next layer of the ionosphere. So it appears to be merged with F2 at the night times. So what is the frequencies that can affect? Partially absorb the high frequencies waves at allowing them to reach F2. Means it reflects, partially it absorbs the high frequency waves. The remaining it will pass to reach the F2. The last and uppermost layer of the ionosphere is F2. This F2 is 300 kilometers away and at the height of 300 kilometers from that surface in night times and 250 to 400 kilometers during daytime. What is this reason behind the variations in the heights? It depends upon the density of the layers as the temperature increasing or decreasing. So we know that day to night there is a large variation in the temperature. This is the biggest reason for this variation of the height. So 300 kilometers at night, 250 to 400 during the daytime. So it exists in the day night. So efficiently it can reflect the high frequency waves at night. So at nights it releases or it reflects the high frequency waves. This is the small information about the number of layers present in the ionosphere. Next we will see how the sky wave will propagate. Next we will see how the sky wave propagation will take place. We up to understood what is ionosphere, what are the different parts of the ionosphere. Now whenever you want to transmit a sky wave or a wave, whenever the height is increasing, density will change. We know that. So at the top, sun's intensity is more, and here ionization will not possible to take place. What is the reason? The temperature is dominating the situation there. The ionization energy is not overcoming the temperature intensity. On the top of the height, near to the heights of the ionosphere, it is not possible. What about the surface on the earth? Yes, at the surface of the earth also, the molecular gathering is more, but temperature is very low. So that minimum temperature is not enough to ionize the molecules. So at the top and at the bottom, with respect to the heights, ionization can't take place. Only at the middle, ionization will take place. There the more number of molecules will gather, and these more number of molecules, because of their ionization effect, they can reflect the waves towards the earth again. So at mid height, it is taken possible. So what are the maximum possible frequencies that can be reflected at the middle case of this one? 3 to 30 megahertz. The waves which has the frequency above the 30 megahertz, they can pass through the ionosphere. They can penetrate through the ionosphere. Understood? So this is the main transformation in the skywave propagation. At the top and bottom, it is not difficult. It is not possible to take the ionization. In the middle, it will take place. That to be of the frequency of 3 to 30 megahertz. If the waves are above the 30 megahertz frequency, they can penetrate through the ionosphere, pass to the next layer. How these waves can be reflected, how these waves can be transmitted, we will see a diagram. Now we will see how the sky wave is propagating. See, this is the antenna. So now this is the top of the mountain, a hill place or mountain. This is the tower, this is an antenna. From there, waves are releasing out. See, at DE layer, the waves went and reflected back to the ground. And some layers are going top. Means the rays which can penetrate through the ionosphere, these two, representing these two, this one and this one, they seems to be penetrating through the ionosphere and passing to the next layer. So we can say that the waves which are above the 30 megahertz, above 30 megahertz, they can penetrate through that. The waves which are reflecting back to the earth again, they are below the 30 megahertz. And the reflection takes place in the D and E only. Means in the middle of the layer only reflection takes place, and the above part is not possible to obey this condition. So this is the way where the sky waves are producing. Next one, we will see about the space waves. Now we are going to see another way of transformation of the electromagnetic wave, that is space wave. What is the meaning of space wave? In the previous one, okay, in the sky wave, whenever the frequency is above the 30 kilohertz, they can penetrate through the ionosphere and reaches to another layer. Below 30 hertz is reflecting back to the surface. That phenomenon we are including here. So what is the meaning of speed wave, space wave? This space wave is such a wave, the waves which are above are reaching to the 40 megahertz frequency, then their propagation always will become straight. So whenever a line which becomes the straight one when compared to the previous cases, this type of communication we can say it is line of sight. LOS communication. For this line of sight communications, these space waves are useful. That means the waves which are called as space waves, when they can possible to transfer the 40 megahertz frequency waves, or waves of this frequency. Always they are in the straight line in nature. They are also called line of sight communication. That means two towers like this. This is one tower, this is one more tower. And this is one antenna, this is one antenna, this is emitter and this is receiver. So mostly they should be in straight one to receive the lines. That means this tower's height should be adjusted to receive this straight line of waves. So then these waves should become horizontal to the Earth's surface, and the minimum distance they should travel will be under 2gh or 2gr, which is equal to the kinematic relation of v square minus u square is equal to 2as. Now we will see what is that horizontal relation for the straightness of the waves, and we will see one problem also. So this is the clear picture to understand the space wave propagation. See here, HT. What is this HT? Height of the transmitter. This is height of the receiver. They both had antenna. This is to transmit and this is to receive. When these two are located obliquely, there should be a maximum line of sight. This DM is the maximum line of sight. Maximum line of sight. So we are going to find out the equation for dt, then dm, which is related to the space wave propagation. Now we can see dt is equal to distance to the horizon. The formula is under root 2r ht, where r is equal to radius of earth, ht is equal to height of the transmitter. This is 2r ht. But what about the maximum line of sight that can be possible between these two receivers? Okay, so it will be like this. dm, maximum line of sight, is equal to under root 2r hr plus under root 2r ht. This is the formula to get the maximum line of sight. So with respect to this formula, we can get the maximum line of sight, and this is the distance of the origin. This will be useful to find out the space wave communications. Now we will see one problem which is based on this dm and dt. A transmitting antenna at the top of a tower has a height 32 meters and the height of receiving antenna is 50 meters. What is the maximum distance between them for a satisfactory communication in LOS mode? See, the question is, what is this 32 meters top of a tower of transmitter? HT is 32 meters. Receiver antenna is 50 meters height. HR is 50 meters height. So what is the maximum distance between them for a satisfactory communication in LOS mode? So what is the maximum line of sight? Under root 2r HR plus under root 2r HT, that is equal to under root 2 into, what is this r? Radius of earth. How much? 6.4 into 10 to the power of 6 meters. 4 into 10 to the power of 6 meters into, what is the HR? 50 plus under root 2 into, again r is equal to 2 into 6.4 into 10 to the power of 6. What is HT? 32 meters. So we can write this one as a 64 into 10 to the power of 5. So we can write like this. Under root 2 into 64 into 10 to the power of 5 into 50 plus 2 into 64 into 10 to the power of 5 into 32. 2 into 32, 64, 64 into 64, root 64 is 64. So 64 into root 10 to the power of 5, and here also we can get 64 into 100 10 to the power of 6, 8 into 10 to the power of 3. So the calculations will be like this. So this one will become 8 into 10 to the power of 3 into root 10 meters plus this one is 64 into 10 square into root 10 meters. This is 8 into 10 cube into root 10 is, if we take root 10 as common, we can get 8,000 plus 6,400, 14,400. So 1200 into, we can write 3.14. So we will get approximately 45.5 kilometers. So we can get the answer 144 into 10 square into root 10 meters. This is equal to 45.5 kilometers. So this must be the height between the transmitter to the receiver to get the maximum LOS mode communication. Next we will see what is the necessity of modulation and what are the different types of modulation. Next we will see the necessity of modulation. What is the meaning of modulation? The compensation for the attenuation. Compensation means in attenuation the loss of strength is there. So that's why modulation should be there. These modulations will be amplitude modulation, frequency modulation, and many phase modulation is also there. But what is the need and what is the necessity of modulation? Means why it is needed in transferring the matter, a message from one point to another point. There are many reasons. Whenever a signal which is transmitted from the transmitter, while it is receiving to the greater heights or reaching to the long heights, then there may be a possibility for the change in the strength of the signal or decrease in the strength of the signal. This is called attenuation. Sometimes this attenuation should be replaced by the frequency modulation or amplitude modulation or many other modulation systems. What is the reason for this modulation? First one, size of the antenna. We already discussed that if you want to transmit the long wavelengths, the tower's height should be in the order of wavelength. Suppose if you want to pump a signal or transmit a signal which is about 20 kilohertz, suppose this is the frequency, this much frequency should be transmitted, the height should be 30 kilometers. Because we will get the wavelength of 30 kilometers order for this 20 kilohertz frequency. But building this 30 kilometers height of a tower is impossible at anywhere. Now, what we should do in these cases, the wavelength range is not, means the tower's height is not in the order of wavelength. Here, we should increase the wavelength. So that is the only possibility with amplitude modulation. Where the height of the this one is not possible to construct this much. And one more thing we can understand with this example is we should need a medium, or we should need an object which can transmit the information from lower frequency range to higher frequency range, or higher frequency range to lower frequency range, because of all these difficulties in transmitting the message. Next one, effective power radiated by antenna. See, the power which is transmitted or received by the antenna is of the order of wavelength, but the thing is that many experiments proved that the power emitted or received by the antenna is inversely proportional to 1 by lambda square, or 1 by lambda power 4. Sometimes in electromagnetic radiation, energy is E is equal to sigma T power 4. Sometimes it is inversely proportional 4th power of the lambda also. In scattering experiment we can find out. So power is inversely proportional to lambda. Maybe it's the square of the order or 4th power of the order. Means if lambda is increasing, power transmitted is decreasing. So this power transmitted should be high, because power is equal to work done by time. So more amount of the signal should be transmitted in a given time. So power should be high, the time should be less, and lambda should be less. So that's why we can demodulate the signal with respect to their wavelengths. Then only this high power should be possible. So this is one of the problem in transmitting the electromagnetic waves from one point to another point. For this purpose also modulation is necessary. The third one is mixing of signals from different transmitters. So what we can understand from this one, suppose if it is a group song, many voices are there, and if it is a discussion, many voices should be converged at one common point, otherwise it won't be transmitted to the receiver. So what we can understand, there are many voices these voices should be transmitted as a single wave, and it can create a noise. There is no best technique to separate these voices on their frequency range. Sometimes along with the voice, music note will be there, audio file will be there, data file will be there, many are there. So what we can understand all these things is, if there is a combination of many voices, it creates a noise. There is no best technique which separates these noises to the best signal. That's why there is a modulation is needed. Sometimes this modulation may be amplitude or frequency or phase modulation also. So mostly the signals will be sinusoidal or pulsated. This is the sinusoidal signal, mostly for the music notes. This is a sinusoidal wave. What about the pulsated? Pulse up, next pulse down. So these type of waves we can see while different voices are mixing as a transmit. Means there are different transmitters, they used to collect the information and converge that information, and they should transmit that one as a single wave. It is very difficult in a group of combinations. That's why modulation is needed to separate amplitude to amplitude, frequency to frequency, phase to phase. We will see this modulation by taking the high frequency wave And that high frequency wave, from there onwards we will do the modulations. That high frequency wave is called carrier wave. The strength of this carrier wave we can refer as CT, means it is time variable. Equation is AC sine omega t plus phi. Omega t plus pi. C is strength of carrier wave. AC is amplitude of carrier wave. Sine is a sine function. Omega is the angular frequency of the carrier wave. Of carrier wave. T is equal to time, phi is equal to phase. So what we can understand with this one, what is angular frequency? Angular frequency formula W is equal to 2 pi nu. Now these are the different modulated waves. This is the carrier wave. This is empty modulated carrier wave. This is amplitude modulation, means see here, shrinking is there, expansion is also there. This one, frequency modulation, means repeated orientations here, and these are the orientations are the with the large gap, you can see. That is phase modulation, means exactly the direction will completely change. Maybe it is the top phase which is reversed to the reverse phase also. These are all the different types of modulations. Amplitude modulation, frequency modulation, next one, phase modulation. These are the different types of modulations we can see. So this is the information about, and this is the wave analysis of the modulated waves. Now we will see the amplitude modulation with the help of equation. In amplitude modulation, carrier wave is there, and that wave is modulated, and that wave is called modulated wave, and we are taking sinusoidal wave as the modulating wave or modulated wave. So we can write carrier wave is equal to AC sine omega ct. Modulated wave is equal to AM sine omega mt and to sine omega ct. The resultant overlapping is said to be modulation of amplitude. That's why finally the equation will change like this. AC sine omega ct plus AM sine omega mt into sine omega ct. So we can take common AC sine omega t. We are taking sine omega ct as common. AC sine omega ct as common. Here 1 plus AM by AC into sine omega mt. Now what we can write this equation as AC sine omega ct into 1 plus mu sine omega mt. By comparing these two equations, we can write mu is equal to AM by AC. What is this mu? Index of modulation. So the index of modulation is amplitude of the modulated wave by amplitude of the carrier wave. Amplitude of modulated wave by amplitude of carrier wave. This is the information we can see. Now we will take the solution of these equations by using the trigonometric relations. Good, sir. Now we are going to use the trigonometric relation for the solution of this amplitude modulation. We know that sin A sin B is equal to half of cos A minus B minus of cos A plus B. This is the trigonometric relation. If we use this trigonometric relation to fit the solution, the equation we will get is like this. Modulated wave of carrier wave equation is equal to AC sin omega ct plus mu AC by 2 into cos omega c minus omega m into t plus minus mu AC by 2 into cos omega c plus omega m into t. In this equation, yes, cos A minus B into cos A plus B. This omega c minus omega m is lower side frequency. Omega c plus omega m is upper side frequency. Lower side frequency. This omega c plus omega m is equal to upper side frequency. Now, if this is the case, if you added these two, we will get approximately equal to omega c. Means the total frequency is under the carrier wave frequency. The resultant frequency is in the limits of carrier wave frequency. So this is said to be amplitude modulation. Now we will see one graph which is plotted between amplitude of the wave to the angular frequency. See now the amplitude A, the graph on the x-axis we have taken angular frequency omega. So we got one equation for the amplitude factor modulus of amplitude index. So we got the terms omega c minus omega m, omega and omega c plus omega m. This is the frequency of carrier wave plus modulated wave. This is the original frequency and this is the carrier wave frequency minus modulated wave frequency. It relates about the change in the frequency. This is the frequency which should be added and this is the original frequency or the net resultant frequency after the modulation. So for these values, if you plotted the graph with respect to the amplitude, we got the value like this, and this is a graph. And see these lines, these two lines, this one and this one are parallel to each other, having the same heights above the x-axis with respect to y-axis. So this value is called mu AC by 2, the maximum amplitude modulus index. So mu AC by 2. What is AC? Amplitude of the carrier wave, mu index of the modulation by 2. This is the relationship. So what is the meaning of that? If the frequencies, the carrier wave frequencies and modulated wave frequencies are separated out, spaced out, then we can expect the remaining frequencies in the middle. So through one signal we can send many stations, or we can arrange many stations or many information. That's why the broadcasting technology was become broadband, and it is calculated from some 88 to 108 for the frequency and the remaining some 50 to 88 for the amplitude modulation. Like this means within a small variation of the frequency we can expect another channel. So this is said to be the modulus index with respect to the carrier wave and modulated wave. So in this gap we can expect more number of more frequencies, the different frequencies. At these frequencies means in this gap different frequencies will exist, and in these frequencies we can produce one more channel. We can transfer the signals with respect to the another channel. Then the telecast will be broader way. Now we will see how to produce an amplitude modulated wave. See here, the signal which is to be modulated is added to the carrier wave, that means original wave, which has longest or largest amplitude. The plus symbol indicates the addition. So this signal, suppose 100 signals are there. I want to modulate one particular signal. So go back to the carrier wave and bring that modulated wave, which wave to be modulated, and add. So the equation part for the modulated wave is AM sin omega t, or we can write AM sin omega mt. The equation for the carrier wave is AC sin omega t. In clearly we can write omega ct also, means carrier wave frequency, modulated wave frequency. They both are added, collected or combined as a single wave. This single wave is connected to the square law device. What is the meaning of square law device? The sine wave progression is there. That is a square law. Means for the negative symbols it will give the positive peak. For the positive signal symbols it will give the negative peak. So positive peaks. So it is connected to the square law device, and this square law device combine this and emit out the resultant wave. The resultant wave we are saying as a Y. Resultant amplitude we can say, resultant displacement we can say. If we go back to the simple harmonic motion in the first year lessons, Y is equal to A sin omega t plus pi, where Y is equal to displacement of the wave, A is equal to amplitude of the wave or amplitude of the oscillator, we can say that. So this Y is nothing but the net resultant displacement. Whenever this resultant wave connected to the band pass filter, filters means a electronic circuit which filters the unwanted signals, which allows only band pass. The graph of the band pass will be a straight line which is similar to the DC current propagation. So what we can understand, this is the resultant displacement which is connected to the band pass. This band pass filter filters the sinusoidal waves and sinusoidal frequencies like 2 omega c, okay, so 4 omega c, like that. It filters the sinusoidal frequencies. This is sinusoidal frequencies. After the filtering, the one what we are getting is a DC wave, that is the in form of amplitude modulated wave. So what we can understand, this square law device which combines the both and releases the resultant displacement. In this resultant displacement there is a possibility of AC plus DC signals, and we should separate that AC to DC. That's why this band pass filter uses for the filtration of the unwanted signals mostly the sinusoidal currents and sinusoidal waves and frequencies. So a DC wave will be an output. That DC wave is called amplitude modulated wave. So what we can understand, Y is equal to amplitude of carrier wave plus amplitude of modulated wave. So the general wave propagation for this amplitude modulated wave is, it is in a form of AX plus BX square. So we can write it as BX plus CX square, which is varies with time. So in place of x and x square, we are going to substitute the omega AM sin omega mt and AC sin omega t. After that, we will get the resultant wave propagation. Now we will see the equation part for this production of modulated wave. Now we will see the equation part for the resultant displacement. The generalized equation for this resultant equation is bxt plus cx square of t, where x and x square are the resultant displacement, b and c are the constants. So what is x actually? Where x is equal to the addition of amplitudes of modulated for carrier wave. So B into AM sin omega mt plus AC sin omega ct plus C into what is x square AM sin omega mt plus AC sin omega ct whole square. Now we are applying the a plus b whole square formula for this part of the equation. Then the equation will be b into am sin omega mt plus ac sin omega ct plus c into am square sin square omega mt plus AC square sin square omega ct plus a square plus b square plus 2ab. What is this 2ab? 2am ac sin omega mt into sin omega ct. So this is whole belongs to C. We can write like this. So here we are going to use the trigonometry formulae to solve and simplify this whole equation. And this simplification is like this. B into am sin omega mt plus ac sin omega ct plus c am square by 2 plus ac square minus c am square by 2 into cm square omega mt minus CAC square by 2 cos 2 omega c plus C AM AC cos omega c minus omega m of t minus C AM AC into cos omega c plus omega m into t. The formula what we have used is sin square a is equal to 1 minus cos 2a whole divided by 2. This formula we have used. So the sin square omega m means 1 minus cos 2 omega m by 2. Sin square omega c means 1 minus cos 2 omega c by 2. So like that we have added and subtracted, and this is the final equation. But this equation is going to be simplified, and what is the simplified form we are going to see now. Now we will see the term which is called c by 2 into omega c plus omega m. And along with this, one more equation we will get, one part is am square plus ac square into c by 2. So these two parts of the equation, these two terms are visible in the previous part of the equation. These two terms represents about the sum of the squares of the amplitudes with respect to the half of the carrier wave frequency. So what we can understand with this expression is, this expression gives the exactly DC result, and this DC result, the sum is in the form of squares of the amplitudes. Why this DC result is arrived with the help of equation? Yes, in the theory we have already discussed that band pass filter which rejects the AC waves and AC sinusoidal frequencies like omega c, 2 omega c, 2 omega m like this. This means these are all AC frequencies. And these AC frequencies will be filtered or is going to be filtered in band pass filter. That's why these DC terms are visible. That means amplitude resultant wave or the amplitude modulated wave is a DC signal, and that DC signal should be fetched or fed into towards the antenna to transmit, but that DC signal won't have sufficient power to pass towards the antenna. That means this is DC signal, which is called as amplitude modulated wave, should be connected to a power amplifier to get the sufficient strength to fed towards the antenna. And what is the schematic diagram for this transmission we are going to see now. Here one schematic diagram to transmit the amplitude modulated wave. Yes, this is the modulating signal into the it will enter to the modulator, which is amplitude modulator. Once it is modulated, it is a DC wave. DC waves not having strength to transfer to the long distances, so they should gain some power for the transmission to the long distances. That's why these DC outputs, nothing but the amplitude modulated waves, are connected to the power amplifier which amplifies the strength of the signal. That is very, very important. So what is the meaning of amplifier? Which amplifies the strength of the signal. In functions and some in villages, they are using the mic system. That mic system is said to be PA system. What is PA system? Power amplifier system. Means if anyone is speaking in the mouth, that his sound voice is magnified some 10 to the power of 3 times or 1000 times, 6 times, 10 power 6 times, and it will be amplified. That amplified version will be spread to the public, which is located in the different places. So this amplifier, which is power amplifier, which gives the sufficient power to the DC signal to transmit to the longer distances, and then it is connected to the transmitting antenna. This antenna will release that amplitude modulated waves to the longer distances. So this is the schematic diagram of propagation of AM waves. Now we will see the detection of amplitude modulated wave. Just before this concept, the transmitted antenna which releases the amplitude modulated wave. Now how to detect that? The detection is follows like this. Yes, this is the transmitting antenna which sends the received signal to the amplifier, which amplifies. Then it is connected to the IF stage. What is the meaning of IF stage? That means the explanation of IF stage is like this. We know the attenuation, loss in the strength of the signal. Whenever a modulated wave is traveling to the long distances, or the wave which is not amplified, when it is traveling to the long distances, there may be a possibility for the loss of strength in the signal. So this IF stage, what is the meaning of IF stage? Yes, attenuation, the loss in the strength of signal. There may be a possibility for the loss in the strength of signal that causes attenuation. In this attenuated state, the frequencies of the amplitude wave or the amplitude modulated wave may fall down to the lower frequencies. While it is falling down, they should cross the intermediate frequency range or intermediate frequency stage, middle frequency. So what is that middle frequency? Just go back to the graph. Omega C minus omega m, it is one frequency. Omega and omega C plus omega m. So middle frequency is exactly omega, equal to omega. So it may fall down to the IF stage. This middle frequency is detected by a detector. Again it is connected to the amplifier, which amplifies the signal with respect to their frequency and amplitude. Then it is released as an output, and that output we are listening, maybe a music, maybe a speech, whatever it may be. So this is the way to detect the amplitude modulated waves. So what is the frequency of the carrier and modulated waves, omega c plus or minus omega m. So this is the way to propagate the amplitude modulated waves. So in this lesson, what we have discussed, what are the different terms used for the communication, main terminologies in the communication system, what is space wave, what is the sky wave, different spheres which are useful for the propagation of communicating waves, next amplitude modulation, frequency modulation, all these things. Lastly, we will see the graphs for the modulated waves and the original waves. So yeah, we will see how the waves are rectified and how this propagation with the analysis of the graphs. Actually, this is the amplitude modulated wave. This amplitude modulated wave is connected to the rectifier. What is the use of rectifier? Which converts AC to DC, alternating current to direct current, or AC waves to DC waves, AC current to DC current. So amplitude modulated wave, this is the input wave, nothing but the amplitude modulated wave. This is the graph. See the amplitudes or amplitude variations when compared to the above and below of the principal axis. It is the input wave. This is connected to the rectifier. This rectifier filters or removes or converts the AC to DC, so it becomes a same phase propagation. There is no alternations. If it is alternative, which causes to 0 to maximum and maximum to 0 and 0 to negative and negative to maximum, like that. So we know the graph of the sinusoidal wave of the AC current. So the rectifier which rectifies the or converts the AC to DC, so the remaining part, the alternating part was removed. Only the DC part which is above the axis is left, and this rectified wave is connected to the output receiver, nothing but the detector, and this detector releases the wave without any disturbances or without any mixing of AC and DC. So input to rectifier, rectifier to output. So AM wave, rectifier, envelope, detector. So this is the propagation of the wave with the help of graphs. So in this lesson, we have concluded all the topics which are useful for the propagation of waves, amplitude modulation, frequency modulation, different terms which are related to the communication systems.